The angle in a semicircle theorem is a guaranteed mark on your WAEC exam, your NECO exam, your JAMB exam, and any other college exam. My question is, do you know how to identify the theorem in any circle geometry problem? Welcome to Post Scholars class. I hope you're having a great day. So the title of this video is Angle in a Semicircle, right? This is one theorem guiding circle geometry. We just have one example we are going to solve together, right? And the example says in the diagram, PQ is a diameter, right? This is PQ, a diameter. A diameter is a line that bisects a circle into two equal parts, right? PQ is a diameter of circle PMQN. So this is circle PMQN with center O, the center labeled as O. If PQM is 63 degree, that's PQM. So it's 63 degree. Find QNM. Find QN and M. Now, before we solve this question, let me introduce you to angle in a semicircle. So how does it work? So if you have a circle, right, with a center, this is the center of the circle. If there's any line cutting across the center, that line is a diameter, then the theorem is telling us that any angle in this semicircle, right? So let me form an angle like this, right, and like this. So any angle formed in the semicircle, it's 90 degree, right? I mean, the value of the angle here is 90 degree. It's a straightforward theorem. Let's form another semicircle. Let's form another angle in this semicircle. We have one again like this, from here to here, then another line here. Similarly, this angle also is what? 90 degree. Let's form the last one from here to here, right? And from here to here. This angle is also what? 90 degree. So that's basically what angle in a semicircle is all about. Now let's solve the question. Here's the question, right? Now we're asked to find angle QNM, right? So let's represent that QNM, the angle here, right? That's what we are looking for. So let's just label it like this. So this is the angle we are looking for. Right now, let's start looking at this diagram critically. We know that this is the diameter of the circle, right? While this area here is a semicircle, right? Now you are now familiar with angle in a semicircle. Automatically, this angle here, right, becomes what? 90 degree. So let's just label it. Let's just use a small square to represent it, because you should know that a small square represents 90 degree. Good. So what do? Now we know this angle, right? We know this angle, but we don't know this angle. And what's the name of this angle? The name of this angle is QPM. So, and one property you know is that the sum of interior angle of a triangle, this shape is a triangle, you can see it, is equal to what? 180. So let's add QPM. So let's add QPM, that's angle QPM, plus 90 degree plus 63 degree must equal to 180 degree, right? What we did was we added this angle, and this angle. Now 90 plus 63 gives 153. So we have QPM, angle QPM plus 153 is equal to 180 degree. Next, QPM is equal to 180 minus 153. Definitely QPM, right, is equal to 27 degree. Now we have gotten this angle. Let's label it what? 27 degree. But what's the mission? The mission is to find this angle, right? Now remember, we have exhausted the theorem angle in a semicircle. Now to find this other angle, we need to invoke another theorem. That means if you don't know all the theorems in guiding circle geometry, there will be an issue. Now we can use a theorem called angle in the same segment, right? This angle and this angle are in the same segment, right? How do we know? They must share the same chord. This is a chord, right? So this angle is sharing this chord, or is associated with this chord, while this angle too again is still associated with this same chord. Therefore, if this angle is 27 degree, this angle will also be what? 27 degree. So finally, I can say that QNM, angle QNM is equal to 27 degree, and that's the final answer, right? You can see we used up two theorems to solve this problem. The first theorem we used was angle in a semicircle, and the other theorem we used is angle in the same segment. I hope it is well understood. Wish to see you in my next video. God bless you. Bye.